Hi, my name is Kim. I'll be playing Mirth, the tiefling lorebard slash hexblade. And with his mother banished and father imprisoned for consortion with devils, he's found his way hunted across Oregon to look for secrets and collect trinkets along the way to find his family again.
Hi, I'm Noor. I'm playing Luna, a half-elf cleric. She's from the life domain, and she's basically traveling the whole continent looking for something that should be revealed soon.
And I am Mark. I'll be your dungeon master tonight. We have another player here playing a character who will be introduced as a new part of the team throughout the session. And unfortunately, we are missing Vizier tonight. Hopefully, he will be in later on this evening. But for now, we're going to get started. When we last left off, our intrepid band of heroes had entered a catacomb in search of the corrupted priest, Reginald Shepherd. Father Shepherd had seemingly kidnapped one of their number in the night and dragged him into this series of catacombs along with him. And so they went in search of both the priest and their lost companion. Discovering that these catacombs had maybe once been salt mines or gem mines used several decades ago, they found it was now covered in the strange fungus that has been disrupting the ecosystem in the swamps and causing undead spore zombies to rise and torment the denizens of the swamp. They made their way through the caverns and ran into a Myconid guide who was able to take them to the last place that he saw the humans wandering through the caverns. And upon their discovery somebody's echoing real bad. Does somebody have the volume on somewhere?
I think that's voodoo. I think he's going to fix it.
Yeah. Upon reaching the part of the caverns that the Myconids pointed out as where the priest had gone, they discovered the body of Gerard, stretched out and used in some kind of dark ritual magic. His life gone, and the body left behind desecrated. In the next room was the priest, transformed into some kind of a human fungal hybrid and spouting zealotous nonsense about some dark goddess who had given him power. The heroes were able to defeat the corrupted priest and give their companion a proper burial. And upon exiting the chamber where they had done battle with Father Shepherd, they were confronted by a small group of Myconid hunters who have demanded that they follow them to their sovereign. And that is where we pick up tonight. Luna, you have walked out of the doorway between the chamber where Father Shepherd had attacked you all and back to where Gerard's body lay, and the Myconids wait expectantly for all of you to come with them.
Luna startled a bit by the number of mushroom people in front of her. She turns around to the rest of the party and, with a low voice, call them out. Guys, we have company.
All right, be with you in a sec. And Martha's just gonna kneel over. And you mentioned that Shepherd had some sort of rune, like carved into his forehead.
Yes, that's correct.
To flip open a book hanging by my side and just take down a quick sketch of the rune.
Okay, no problem. Do you still have the tome? Like, is that on your person? Who has that?
I do.
Nora's carrying it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Angus squats down, sort of on the other side of Shepard's body, and just looks across to Mirth. I don't much fancy dragging his body all the way back to Anchor, but Malabo does need to know what's happened to the local priest, so which bit do you think we take back?
Mirth will flick out Solace into blade form and just quickly lop off his head. And then say, this part.
Pretty grisly, but I like it. You got something to wrap it in?
Your cloak?
Well, if there's nothing better, I guess.
Buddy. And I hand it to him and like spring up and then step through the door.
There's a tattered curtain hanging behind you. That's what that like wavy line is by that back behind you. There's like a chair, a dilapidated old chair, a desk that's no longer really a desk, and that curtain kind of hanging there. So I don't know if you can, if you would take note of that as something to use.
Okay, I have added Reginald Shepherd's severed head to my character sheet.
Oh, that's beautiful.
For food if things go wrong. So I'll meet Luna out in the, I guess, adjourning chamber and wait for Angus, and then we'll be on our way.
Okay.
Maybe just give the body one final little kick, just a little vindictively, and then follow after.
Okay. You give him that final nudge and head out into the next chamber. About 7 medium-sized mushroom people are standing there awaiting your presence, and the one who had led you to this chamber looks at all of you and says, "The Sovereign still wishes to speak with you. Will you come with us?"
Yeah, sure. We've got nothing better to do.
Okay. They begin to lead you back into the main chamber of mushrooms and through this vast mushroom forest. The lichen, the photosensitive lichen around the cave kind of glowing in response to the moon-touched rapier. And you follow a path that you were almost unaware of the last time that you had moved through the caves. The path leads down deeper. It narrows, and you find that there's this trickling stream of water, barely anything more than an inch or so deep, and a crevice that it flows through. And you notice that through a trick of the light and the way the rock overlaps, the crevice in the wall is actually large enough that a human-sized creature could squeeze through it. And that's when the incredible sight opens before your eyes. You move into this crevice, and as you come out, you're in a chamber that is vast. There are multi-colored lichen all along the walls and ceiling that create almost an aurora of light around the cavern. Dim, but enough that even those of you without dark vision could make out what you're looking at. And you see a sea of mushrooms of all shapes and sizes before you. They don't look like the other mushrooms that you saw. The other ones had a dark tint to them. They had a like a slick, slimy nature to them. These are colorful, bright, a swirling rainbow of life. And the Myconid hunters wave for you to follow them into this jungle. As you do, you can just kind of see all around you that this place is teeming with life of varying kinds. Little glowing insects and motes of light flitter from mushroom to mushroom as you walk through it. The place is enchanting. There's a thick grass of fungal moss that lines the floor of this part of the cavern, and they lead you through it.
Okay.
Now, the Myconids are not communicating to you verbally. They are communicating with you telepathically, as you experienced the last time. They kind of spread these spores through the air, and as long as you're near them, you can hear their thoughts. The thoughts that they project to you. We are the hunters. We bring food to the circles. We give them sustenance. Some of the food has not been right. Some of the mushrooms have not been right. The sovereign wishes to speak with you.
Mirth is all for this. He will be beaming and staring at the colorful fungi as he just kind of like skips after them through the cave.
Angus is sort of just casually waving a hand in front of his face to wave away a couple of insects floating around near his face. When you say the mushrooms aren't right, yellow, fungal growth on them, unnatural. Is that what you mean?
In unison, all the hunters say yes in your mind.
We've seen it out on the surface in the swamp as well. We're not entirely sure what's causing it, but any information that you might have may be of use to us. So if you need us to speak to your sovereign, then lead the way.
In unison, they say, we are.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
You travel through the fungal wilds, and they take you to a small. They take you to a small, circular, open patch, where there's like a clear spot among the mushrooms, that's fairly wide, and yet it's canopied by huge mushrooms all around this circular kind of clearing. And a single, well, there is a mushroom, one of these mushroom people in the grove, um, with his kind of mushroomy legs crossed, and standing beside him um, is a large hulking mound of vines, about, well, slightly larger than a man and covered in fungi. And it kind of stands over him almost as a guardian. The mushroom people in unison say to you, "This is Lumba. He leads the hunters."
Do we feel each other?
Hello, and I'll step up to them and kind of offer them a hand to shake and then look curiously at their limbs.
The Lumba does not reach out a hand to shake, but emits the same spores that you saw before that kind of float in the air as a harmless but enchanting cloud. And you hear him in your mind, "Greetings. Welcome."
Oh, thank you. You have a very nice place here.
Sarani, you stand over Lumba, the head of the hunters. The Sovereign has given you a place among the hunters to aid them in looking for food for the colony, since you seemed particularly good at finding such things. And you watch as the hunters lead this parade of unusual beings with them into the circle. You've never seen beings like these: a tiefling, a half elf, a human, a lizard man, and a younger human. You've heard of them even during the meldings, though you can't quite participate in the same way as your brethren. You see images of all of the things that they have experienced in their lives, and so you've experienced through the colony some of what these creatures may be. But meeting an entire group of individuals like this has not happened to you before.
This colony is strange.
The voice is very low.
You're very quiet, to me at least.
Yeah, you were very, very quiet there.
This colony is strange looking.
Do you say that out loud, or do you send that telepathically?
Out loud.
Okay. You're still kind of low. I have you put up all the way, so I don't know if there's something on your end you can work on with that.
How's that? Is that better?
Much better. I'm sorry to bug you about that.
Oh, no.
Lumba nods in agreement. And those of you who have entered the hunter's circle, this is the first of these creatures you've heard speak out loud. And he looks very, very different than the rest.
Angus is watching
hi.
this figure very warily because he remembers the encounter we had with the shambling mound and doesn't want a repeat of that experience.
Absolutely.
I'll tentatively approach this one, but I won't shake his hand for the same reason that Angus is watching him. And I'll say hi. Hail and well met.
That's a greeting, yes? Greetings
It's a greeting.
to you too. I
Thank you.
am Surani.
Oh, my name is Mirth. That's a very nice name.
Thank you.
In unison, Mirth, you hear in your head from all of the mushrooms that are in the clearing with you. Greetings, Mirth.
Oh, hello everyone.
I'm Angus, I guess. Hi, collective crowd of mushroom people.
Greetings, Angus, I guess.
Okay,
And,
yeah. You know what? Fine. Angus, I guess, will do.
I'll point back to Luna and explain to them who she is, and then do the same with Vasir. I mean, I'm guessing if he was here, he'd probably do it himself, but
Yes.
circumstances.
They
Luna
greet
just-
each of you in the same way. Go ahead, Luna, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was saying that Luna just stays to the back. She's not really. She's very distant. She's not focusing on what's going on. She has a lot on her mind.
Very distracted.
Distracted, right?
In spite of your distractedness, the creatures speak into your mind, and so on the one hand you are keeping a mental distance, but on the other hand you keep hearing these voices speak up in your head.
Okay.
The sovereign and kind of sit down in front of it cross-legged, and then pull out my flute and begin to pipe out the tune to an Oridan lullaby, and then between breaths ask them, "So, what did you want to talk to us about?"
As we said, the sovereign wishes to meet with you, but first you must speak with Lumba. Yes. Yes. It is necessary that we know your nature. Will you help us hunters?
What are we helping you do?
There is a creature in our grove here, in our wilds. We wish it to be for the colony, and yet it can harm us. It is not yet ready to be harvested, and it hurts the grove. Serani here.
Sorry.
Serani here cannot hunt it alone. Will you help him? Will you bring us the creature for the colony?
So you want us to go hunt a plant, is it?
No. It is a monster. It is a creature.
Okay. Well, we're pretty good at that. You said bring it back to you. Do you want it alive or and I draw a finger across my throat.
What is this motion?
Dead. Gone. Us people, we need our throats to take in air. So when it is cut, we die.
Yes, as you say. Its life must be ended for it to be food.
Okay.
What kind of
Yeah,
creature is
we
it?
can do that. Oh, yeah, that's a good question too.
It is
And
like it has no arms or legs. It slides upon the ground. It has a beak, and it has tendrils from its face.
It's it slides. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Lumba?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It slides upon the ground.
Would any of us stand any chance of recognizing from the description what kind of monster we might be facing?
Give me a nature roll. Yeah, give me nature.
can I help him out?
Absolutely. If you wish to confer with him and depart from your distractedness, you can help him.
Sure. Hmm.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Oh,
Hello.
Folks, this is Alex. He plays Vasir. Um, Vasir, the group has traveled with the Myconid hunters to their grove hidden deeper within the cavern. It is a beautiful rainbow colored kind of transcendent place of light and life. They've brought you to a clearing where you have met the leader of the hunters, whose name is Lumba, and Lumba's protector, which is a large, a slightly larger than human hulking mass of vines covered in a mushroom cap-like fungal growth. And he speaks verbally while the others communicate telepathically. And the leader of the Myconid hunters has asked that you help them hunt down some creature that is stalking the mushroom wilds, so that they may farm its corpse for food.
All right. I guess we proved ourselves worthy by taking out the shepherd, I guess.
That was one thing. But they want to speak to you about the other things that are going on down here with the strange fungus.
As a case in point,
This
Angus
thing for Lumba first,
takes
right?
out the severed head of Reginald Shepherd and sort of unfurls it from his cloak and just holds it in front of Lumba just to double check. Didn't happen to be this guy. Just maybe we already did it.
No, that
Of
is a
course, we're not
human.
that lucky.
That is a human. This is not a human. Is he food now?
For us, no, heavens. I mean, the rest of his body is back in the other room if you are that desperate.
Then we shall hunt it.
Okay,
there's no menace.
you got.
Well, I'm sorry, I was talking over you guys. Go, each of you go ahead.
Just having heard that, Angus
no,
is sort of gonna
done.
roll his eyes and be like, "Oh, you're gonna hunt the dead body we already killed for you? Yeah, real heroic." And sort of go lean against a wall next to Luna, just being aware of the fact she still seems a little bit off since the fight with Shepard.
I was gonna say, you You guys think it's a good idea to let them eat an evil entity? I mean, I'm not sure if there's still evil in it. I don't know what
There's
you
a
think.
point. Yeah, I mean, we saw the rest of the mushrooms do bad things, so yeah.
Is
Fair,
I
they're
suppose
more
so.
like live mushrooms that were doing the bad things.
Is this food not good? Is it? Is this food that will? Is it like the other mushrooms? The other ones.
Well, think about it this way. We're gonna go kill this monster thingy for you, and I mean, that'll be better food. You can eat that instead. Just to be on the safe side.
Yes. They all say in unison. You did roll a 20 on your nature check, so
I rolled twice. It should be the 14, because I rolled that first.
right, okay.
Luna was giving you help, was she not?
Yeah, if Luna was giving you help and you were kind of conferring with each other, then you would have advantage. If you were kind of
Yep,
discussing...
if help applies, then yeah, it would be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um... and... Surani, yes, you can. You hear this sound, you hear the description of this monster, and it can be a couple of things, but it sounds a lot like a grick.
A grick?
Yes.
Okay.
A grick is a large worm-like predator that has a tendency to blend in with rocks in caverns, and it likes to accumulate cast off possessions of its prey, and will remain in an area until all sources of food have been eaten.
Okay.
Right. I guess we're going grocery shopping for these mushroom people.
I think we should get some rest first.
That human
Yeah.
head.
That would be good.
That human head. It smells of blight.
Yeah, he wasn't the best person in life.
Yeah, he was a real blighter, you could call him that.
The blight is a taint. It must be destroyed.
I must be honest. I'm still pretty beat up from facing the shepherd.
Yeah. So, can I inquire if they have anywhere where we could take a quick, hour long break before we set out?
You may prepare yourselves here in the circle.
Awesome.
We will wait with you. And he kind of motions to the center of this circle of mushrooms where you can sit, and as kind of like a welcoming gesture to sit and rest.
I'll plop down on a mushroom, but right before I do that, I'm gonna just sidle over to Luna and say, "Hey, do you still have that book I gave you? I want to do a little more reading up on it."
Yeah, sure. You can have it, but be careful.
Oh, always.
Um.
Then I walk away and plop down on a mushroom.
Okay.
She'll go with him.
Okay. As you guys sit, the mushrooms, the myconids kind of form a circle within the circle, and start releasing spores into the air. And they kind of seem to enter some kind of a state of harmony, and like shared thought. You just kind of watch as they all sway together.
Can I ritual cast comprehend languages before we begin the long rest, short rest, so I
Yeah.
can do some light reading throughout it?
Of course, you're gonna read the book again, huh?
Whatever. Maybe just skim it.
Going to at least make the attempt.
Yeah.
DM, this is a short rest, right?
It is a short rest. Yes, that is correct. You may use hit dice and regain anything that you can regain during a short rest. I believe this is your second short rest of the day.
Yeah. We had one before fighting Shepherd.
That's what I thought. Oh, bad luck on Mirth, man. You get disadvantage on your next roll, brother.
Why?
Because apparently the chat doesn't like you.
What? Deeply wounded.
Redeemed bad luck, buddy. Oh boy.
All right. So you're reading the tome.
I'll crack it open, have a look, and
Okay.
I'll try and pick out any similarities or reoccurrences of the rune I found on Shepard's head.
Okay, go ahead and make a wisdom save with disadvantage.
Oh no, I didn't. Oh, I didn't. Okay. Well, all right. That's one. Not bad. And that's worse.
Ooh, that is a 9. Do me a favor and give me a D100 roll.
Madness. What a wonderful thing.
Okay, so the good news is you find the symbol. It's there.
Yay.
You also realize that the symbol translates in your mind as the symbol of the demon lord of Fungus's name. There's no exact name for it, but you understand that that's what it is. There's no human word for it. There's just this symbol. At least not a human word you know.
Yeah, okay.
And you got a 48. So the bad news is that you are suddenly irrationally attached to this book. You need to have it on your person at all times. You just feel the need that it must stay with you. Mechanically speaking, if you are more than 30 feet from this book, you will have disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws until it is within 30 feet of you again. And this effect is going to last for the next... Oh, let me roll this. Seven hours.
Alright, that's fine. I can live with that.
You need the book. It needs to stay on your person.
Reading without the book, so I'll just stab anyone who tries to take it.
And we don't know this yet, right?
Until we try to take it from him.
So you spend your time taking your rest. Everybody's used their hit points, reset what they needed to.
I mean, I
While we
can't because
were
I'm out. So
I
Gotcha.
don't gain
sort of
anything.
taking the rest, Angus is just gonna sort of sit down next to Luna again, just look across and go, I know you didn't want to kill Shepard. I didn't want to either, but it kind of became necessary.
She doesn't respond. She just nods and looks at Mirth, um, asking him if he's finished with the book. Did he learn anything?
Oh, I'm very not finished with the book. Still very dense piece of literature. It's gonna take me, I don't know, a day or two to get through it, and I need to keep it. Sorry, ears.
And do I believe him, DM?
Give me an insight check.
Am I gonna contest that, or is that
No,
just on her part?
No, I'm just gonna see if she can.
Never mind.
um, he's still busy with the book, and he absolutely needs to hold on to it. Like he's definitely being honest with you that he needs to hold on to it.
Tell us if you learned anything, right? Yes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And she looks back at Angus. We'll talk about this later.
Okay, but I just wanted to say that helping these weird mushroom people to, I guess, eat a decomposing corpse? That's gotta be part of the cycle of life and death, right? I think Thunder would approve of us helping. Do you agree?
You see a little smile on her face, and she's we'll see.
And all throughout this conversation, Angus has taken out the clump of shambling mound and has just been scraping bits off of it now that it's dried out, and is going to roll it up in a leaf and have a little cigarillo of shambling mound prepped and ready for once we kill this thing.
Oh my god. All right. Please do me a favor and roll D100 as well.
So I'm not smoking it yet, but I've got it prepped and ready for once we have killed the thing.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for the roll. That's gonna be fun. That's good. All right.
And Luna looks at Vizier. How you feeling?
here's just kind of while we're taking about an hour or so to ourselves, he's just kind of sitting on the ground, back against one of the cavern walls, sort of taking time to breathe. Feeling very tired. Feel like I need to get more than just a quick rest in, but if you need me, I'm here. It's what I do.
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, I do need a good rest. I'm almost out of spells. So be careful going forward.
I'll see what I can do. And thanks for the concern. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Say so.
Sort of as the rest is winding down and it looks like we're getting ready to leave, Angus is going to sort of look still quite warily across to Surani and just say, this thing that we're facing, do you know anything about it? Any advice?
Sarani, you know that it likes to blend into the rock and hunt passively. Wait for things to eat, to walk by, and then ambush them.
It is an ambush predator. It hides, it waits, like spider.
Do we know how it senses its prey? Like, can it see us coming, or is it more based on sound, motion?
Not sure.
Well, here's hoping that it's weak against piercing damage.
Maybe heat? Motion?
One way to find out. Mirth laughs as he stands up from the mushroom and tucks his sword by his side. And walks over to Lumba and says, "Hey, you ready? We're ready. Let's go."
When you're all ready to go, Sarani will lead you to the area of the caverns that they know this ambush hunter is hiding. And I will bring you there and reveal that to you. This map is very large once again, so find the spot that I will be revealing, and you can place your minis where I point. All right. You guys will be here. You essentially move from the circle of mushrooms into this open field of mushrooms with a path down the middle of it. Sarani, this is the hunting grounds of the Myconids. This is an area that is easily accessed by other creatures that live down here in the caverns, and when a creature who lives in the caverns dies in this grove, the hunters, you among them, will take that creature and bring it back to the colony. Lately, this monster has been stalking the prey that the Myconids usually eat, and devouring it for itself.
Okay. How's the lighting?
The lighting is it is dim. There is dim light all around.
My token doesn't want to populate properly. There it is. Ah, got it.
There's two of you now.
We know this thing is an ambush predator that picks on easy prey. Can't be much easier prey than a dead man. maybe I can play possum and see if I can lure it out.
I'm certain that's the wisest move.
Okay, but it might be effective.
Hmm? Effective for who, though?
Good point. Still, unless we've got something better, I'm willing to try it.
I've got something better that won't involve you laying down on the floor and waiting for it to come stab you.
Open to ideas.
Images and noises where there aren't any. So, have to open. But I mean, can't be that bad, right? It's just a little bug.
Well, it's supposed to be big enough for all the fungus people to eat.
It's quite large.
Maybe they're dieting.
Big as me.
Bigger than you.
It's at times like these I miss Dupree. He would have just leapt on that thing and stabbed at it till it stopped breathing.
He also would have complained the entire way.
Good point.
One of his best features.
So what your colony want to do?
If we're vetoing my plan, then maybe it's best we move forward as a group and keep our eyes peeled.
Sure.
You think the light might hurt it? Maybe force it to reveal itself? Bright light, of course.
What are you proposing with that?
Maybe you can. I can cast light on some stones, maybe, and just throw it all around and see if anything moves.
Big cave is that it's basically a beacon asking for stuff to come kill you. So I figure we just stick with the person who knows the most about it as we move forward.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll draw Solace and follow Serrani into the grove.
As we start to get in the grove, Serrani takes off his shield and wraps his viney hand inside one of them, and then pulls out a scimitar and is like, "It's this way. We go this way.
Which way are you pointing?
This direction.
Okay.
This way."
I guess it's going to creep along behind, sort of squinting in the very low light, and have one hand on the hilt of his rapier, ready to pull it out if there's any sign of movement.
Okay. Everyone give me perception checks.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say Luna's taking the back, as usual.
Sharp-Eyed stays amongst the middle of the party, keeping a wary eye on Vasir, knowing that Vasir suffered a lot of damage in the previous battle. Sharp-Eyed just seems very protective of the soft-skinned human.
Aw.
Looks like you got a new friend, Azir.
It's glad to make new friends.
You're moving through this cavern, and you've watched and seen things slithering amongst the mushrooms and sliding along crevices in the walls, but you've yet to notice a creature the size that Sarani has informed you that this thing might be. That this thing must be.
Sorry. Did you say where we saw it?
You haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Sarani, you...
As we move forward...
Go ahead.
Yes.
As we move forward, Mirth is gonna subtly turn around and then create a minor illusion right as Luna passes. He'll create it behind her as they walk with the rest of the group. So like around here of a smaller and scrawnier Myconid kind of stumbling along the path.
Okay.
Barbs as the rest of the hunters.
Sure.
Okay.
You all move cautiously, watching around you.
Do I hear anything unusual?
You hear the sound of slimy flesh against stone up ahead.
Okay, I'm going to take root.
Okay.
Stop moving right next to the fungus. I'm assuming that's another fungus right there.
Yes, it is. It's a mushroom. Giant mushroom.
Yep.
It's
I'm going to
probably
take root
it's a
right
mushroom
there.
the same size as you.
Yeah, I'm going to take root right next to it and stop, and then start to try to observe where I heard the sound come from.
It's coming from this rocky area up ahead. I don't know if you see where I'm pointing. Hold on. Here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Somewhere in this area here.
Okay, I'm gonna stealth while I'm here.
Okay, give me a roll.
Okay.
Okay. You are you putting your shield away? Or are you
Yes.
kind of tucking it into your
Well,
vines?
I'm tucking it into my arms and just kind of folding over.
Okay.
Aren't you-
Suddenly the creature before you kind of the hunter that is with you folds himself over onto his shield almost and takes on the appearance of a very viney mushroom. In fact, if you didn't know that he was a companion of yours, you would wonder if you would just think he was another plant down here in the caverns.
Neat trick.
And I'll give myself away to the party. I'm going to say, I can hear it up ahead. It's on the stones.
Do me a favor, Mirth, and draw the shape of your illusion somewhere behind you, just like a circle or something, whatever. Something that you can move around.
Alright. Doing that, am I? Oh, I think I am, actually. Hold on.
Luna whispers to Angus, "What do we do?"
I could see if I can scout ahead, get eyes on it. Might be difficult without the light, though.
I could try, but I'm not very good at being silent.
Do you want to keep moving?
Well, we
If
came
it's-
here to kill this thing. Can't exactly do that back here, can we?
If it's
It's
up
not
ahead,
going to attack us if it sees that we're in a group.
Like I said,
I'll,
my possum idea is still on the table.
if it's up
I'll
ahead,
approach.
how about we try and surround it? or um, be in the V formation, perhaps.
Sarani, what were you saying?
I'm going to use one of my vines and I point this direction. You see when the vines kind of snake out from
Yeah.
the mushroom and kind of point to this way. It's over there somewhere.
Messier's gonna get his staff out. Right. Well, I'm extremely tired, so I'd probably make pretty good bait. I'll go ahead and step on ahead of us a little bit. Try not to let me
Angus
die.
is going to follow along behind and see if he can sort of hide here, sort of amongst the cover.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
I'll
ahead and
do
give
the
me
same
a-
thing as Angus and kind of flank Vasir as he moves up.
All right, give me some stealth rolls to do
I'm going
that.
to use my bonus action to uproot and go ahead and move a little bit. Not very fast. I'm trying to stay hidden in the mushrooms, but
Luna tries to hide behind this rock.
Go ahead and give me your attempt, Luna.
Just kind of cautiously making my way forward.
Okay. And Mirth, can your illusion move, or is it just a minor illusion? What is it here?
Are you talking in game terms or as
In
on the
game
Roll20
terms.
interface?
In game terms.
It can move within the boundaries of the illusion, but if I wanted to move it, I could just create it again in an adjacent square.
Okay, I just didn't know if you were planning on doing that. You guys are moving forward, and Mirth, you're hiding along this wall as they move forward, and suddenly something falls on top of you. A weight. A heavy, slimy weight falls on top of you.
Is it a legendary instrument of the bards covered in fungal goo?
Yes. That's exactly what it is. Otherwise known as a grick. The creature falls on top of you, dropping its full body weight onto your person. I need you to make a strength check to stay standing, and you will take some bludgeoning damage as it lands onto your person. And we will all roll initiative. You are knocked prone, my friend. As a large creature drops its entire body upon your person. Wraps itself around you.
Ah, shit. Forgot. Click my token.
That's okay. I didn't even clear the initiative from the last time. Angus, what'd you roll? 7. Okay. Mirth has a 12. Luna has a 9.
Oh, no, wait. I had an 8 the first time, so
Okay, I'll fix it.
that's fine.
And Vasir has an 11. You're going to take 9 damage from the creature falling on you, Mirth, and you are prone.
Cool.
It is going to attempt to grapple you by wrapping its body around you. Let's see. We need a initiative roll here from our lizardfolk companion, Sharp-Eyed, and we need an initiative here from the Grick. Oh, that's not going anytime soon. All right, so it drops down. Those of you who have a passive perception above a. What is everybody's passive perceptions?
Mine is 19.
Okay.
13 here.
Okay.
13 as well.
15.
All right. Luna, you are aware of the creature before it falls onto down onto Mirth. The rest of you are not until it happens. It surprises you with its sudden presence.
Can I do anything? Or do I,
You
do I
will
have
not be
reaction?
surprised during this round.
Okay.
So, the rest of you, your passive perceptions were below its stealth. Sarani, you are standing right there when the creature falls out of the crevice that it was hiding in and lands upon the unsuspecting bard. You kind of come out of your surprise that the creature is there suddenly. Mirth, you are also surprised by the creature. Everybody's surprised except for Luna. So, Luna, what are you doing on your action? You see this happen.
Yeah. I don't really have a lot of things to do. So okay, so she screams out to Mirth to watch out, and she'll cast Toll of the Dead.
Okay.
Wisdom 14.
Wisdom 14.
No, the seer can't be surprised.
Oh, yes, that's true. I'm sorry. Then you would have acted. I apologize. You also see the Grick fall and are ready to act immediately. So let me know what you're doing as well.
Likely, the seer is probably going to rush over to Mirth and probably try and is this creature grappling with Mirth, or did it just like
It
knock
has
him
not
down?
grappled him yet. It has knocked him to the ground with its body weight so far. But it is sliding its body around his fallen form.
I'm gonna come over and try and I know what I'm gonna do. All right. So I'm going to first call upon my arms of the astral self. So hands clasped together, spectral arms erupting from the seer's shoulders, and he's going to come over and attempt to essentially grapple with the Grick and keep it from wrapping around Mirth. Which I guess athletics check.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
All right. So this is a +4. So it's a 19.
19. And it's going to make an athletics check against you. And it fails. So you run up, you grab the slimy worm-like creature that is trying to wind its way around your companion, and you begin pulling it off of Mirth. You pull it towards you just enough to kind of allow Mirth an opportunity to try and get out from under it as soon as he has the opportunity. In the meantime, your Toll the Dead, Luna, does work on the creature. You can feel its power ringing through the creature's mind. Go ahead and give me a damage roll for it. It's a start, but it doesn't seem wholly affected by your magic.
Hey, bad minimum means if she uses it again, she rolls a d12.
Do I have movement?
Do you have movement and you have a bonus action? Absolutely. It is a normal action.
She'll get closer to it and remain about 10 feet away from it, which is like this. And that's it.
Okay.
And she's like, Vizier, be careful.
Being as careful as I can, but I gotta help everybody.
Um,
He's just sort of got like, while he has his astral arms out, he has to like keep his hands like together to like
Okay.
prevent them from dissipating. It's a little bit of like a concentration effort.
Mirth kind of yells out from under the grip, "Love you, buddy," with his voice muffled by it.
You get a mouthful of slime as you try to talk from under it. In the meantime, Angus, you come out of the surprise of the sudden appearance of this huge creature that seemed to materialize out of the darkness, and then the creature acts. Vasir, you have successfully pulled the creature off of Mirth and have it grappled within your astral arms. But the creature pays no attention to you. Seeing Mirth laying on the floor of this cavern, it will strike at it twice. Mirth, does a 17 hit you?
Not when I use shield,
Okay. You have the opportunity to do
which
so.
I will do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll cast
All
shield.
right. You shield yourself from the pounce, the like wrapping tentacles of this creature. Your arcane just energy like covers you, and the tendrils slap against it, and it recoils back from the sudden power that you've displayed. Sarani, having recovered from your surprise, you see the monster before you attacking these newfound allies, testing their mettle. What are you doing?
Bonus action, I'm going to Hunter's Mark it,
Okay.
and then for my action, I'm going to activate my spores,
Sounds good.
and then I'm going to move next to it.
So you're activating your spores to give you the additional hit points?
Yes, and the additional damage. So I gain 8 temporary hit points.
All right. Fungal spores open up around this creature that you see eating you. And he readies to strike at the prey before it. Mirth.
Okay, so I will expend half my movement to stand up next to it. And then I'm from my mouth as I clench a fist to cast Hex. And a whirling torrent of like spirit surges from the holy symbols across my body to kind of orbit it. And then I take up my sword in two hands and attempt to plunge it into it.
The creature...
and so...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just as a side note, it also gets disadvantage on strength ability checks while it's hexed.
Nice. Okay, it is now hexed and
So, yeah.
Hunter's marked.
Huh.
All the effects. Right. 19 to hit and 12 damage plus 1d6 from the hex.
That is correct, and that will strike. I'm trying to get this map to show up properly on the screen here. Sorry to all the viewers at home who are unsure of what's happening. You send Solus into the creature before you, dealing the 18 points of damage, and it rears back, letting out this piercing shriek as it does so. It's the tentacles around its beaked mouth, like freak out wildly, just batting in all different directions as it shrieks in pain. Vasir?
15 damage, by the way. 12
Oh,
for
yes,
the
I see
one-handed
that.
attack, and then 3 for the hex. Yep.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Well, I guess I'll start hitting the thing.
It is what you do.
It is indeed what I do. So we're gonna go ahead and now this is all radiant damage. Just to be clear.
Right.
So we're gonna give it a quick smack. And sure, we're gonna go ahead and spend another key point to get another 2 quick smacks in, hopefully. Nice. Very nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, that will do it. Really, really well. You hit the thing 3 times, including that nice critical hit. You all see these astral arms that are summoned begin to pummel the monster before you, and just radiant bursts of energy slamming into its body. The creature kind of twists one way and twists another, and looks as though it is ready for collapse.
I set him up, you knock him down.
Sharp-eyed sees an opportunity and rushes forward to help in this situation, and launches his spear from behind Mirth into the Grick. And the spear lands into the Grick's hide, but doesn't seem to penetrate very far. It skitters across the Grick, opening up a line of blood that begins to seep and then goes clattering to the ground behind it. Luna.
I guess again she'll finish it off with all of the dead. Hopefully.
Go ahead and give us a roll. Or I give you a roll. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm not on my A game tonight. I feel like I'm thrown off here. It fails its wisdom save, and so the mournful tone rings through its mind. With a last sudden shudder, it kind of becomes rigid, filling the cavern to the ceiling, and then falls, dropping lengthwise onto a nearby mushroom and crushing this huge mushroom to the ground, crashing around you and causing the cavern to reverberate.
There's a sudden illumination as Angus finally pulls out his rapier and sort of like gestures around wildly, looks and goes, "Oh, we did it. Go us."
It was a bit easier than I thought it was going to be. Sears like astral arms just sort of like give everybody a bit of a clap.
Luna
We
looks
are
toward-
sure there was only one of these things, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
What did Luna say?
Just what Angus said.
Great minds. So there it lies, dead before you.
Well, this is what they asked us to hunt, right?
Yes.
Let's drag it back.
Luna just looks towards Surani and asks him if this is the only one, or is there another one? Just to be sure.
Pretty sure this is the only one.
The cavern. Oh, never mind.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can continue to look at the cavern.
Oh, no. It is good. It is fine.
Okay.
It was pointed out before.
Sarani, as far as you are aware, this is the only one of these creatures in this cavern. This is what they sent. This is what they wanted you and the strange circle to bring back to the colony.
Okay.
Assuming you begin to drag the Grick back, you return to the circle where the hunters, or you start heading back to the circle where the hunters are, and as you enter the mushroom forest, you see the hunters come out from the mushroom wilds and begin to surround this Grick and help you to move the creature through amongst the mushrooms. And at one point, you hear in your minds, "We will take it from here. Sarani, bring them back to Lumba."
Okay. I move them. I tell them, follow me. Come.
If you don't mind, I'd like to take a short break here as you return to the circle, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Myself up a little bit of dinner.
Hey, like I said, only one pure gold can be redeemed
Pure
per.
golds. It
Let's
won't be those. I'll be.
Gotcha. There are
Yeah.
limits. Almost all of them have like a limit of how many can be purchased per session. This way, it doesn't break the game.
Okay. Smart.
Mm-hmm. If anybody out there, we are going to get back started again. I am waiting for Sarani's player to say that they have returned.
I'm returned.
Excellent. There we go. So we will get started. I'm going to just take a few minutes to thank everybody for participating in our chat. That's awesome. If you are an Amazon Prime member, just remember that you can give one free sub. I hope that if you're enjoying this, that you will consider giving it to us. But otherwise, continue to enjoy what we're doing. Come back. We do run D&D both tomorrow night and Friday night. So please continue to join us. All the links and the chat, the chat rules, a little bit about me, and our schedule is right down below. So thanks for joining us tonight. You return.
I would be remiss.
What's that?
I would be remiss if I didn't say it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
We're not on YouTube right now, but we will be, tomorrow.
But you will be, so... YouTube.
You have returned to the Circle of the Hunters, and Lumba is standing awaiting your arrival, and as soon as you enter the clearing, he releases the rapport spores that allows him to communicate telepathically with you. You, Sarani, are completely used to this effect, and as soon as the spores kind of open up your mind to communicating with Lumba, Lumba says to you, "Is it done? Did they bring the foods? Is sustenance here? Are they worthy to aid us?"
Yes, they are quite skilled hunters.
This is good. The Sovereign will be glad to hear it. Come now. It is time for the melding.
That sounds intimate.
And Lumba begins to lead all of you deeper into this cavern. As you enter into kind of these northern terraces of the main cavern, you see that there are like tiers of stone that are almost like an inverted or like an amphitheater that surround a pool of water in the center that glows with phosphorescent lichen, and all of the Myconids have come out of their homes, and you see fungal farms around where they are tending to like gardens of different types of smaller mushrooms and fungi and different plant life, and they just come from all over and are coming out of the woodwork, if you would, entering into the bottommost layer of this cavern. They form individual circles with similar looking Myconids. And one of the Myconids, as they pass you, he's different than the hunters, and he comes out of like a mushroom grove and walks past you, and you hear in your mind as he passes you in kind of this euphoric, elated voice, "The time for celebration is at hand. It is near. You must rejoice. Rejoice, for the day is coming.
It's the day. What are we rejoicing for?
The day is coming. We rejoice.
Right.
And he just keeps moving past you.
Oh boy.
Day for what?
Lumba raises a hand. This is what the Sovereign will speak of with you. Some of our brothers, sisters, or whatever you would call them, to your people, some of our kind, they await this day. They act strangely.
What is this sovereign anyway?
It is the Sovereign. The Sovereign leads the circles. The Sovereigns lead our circles.
Right, but what do they look like?
There. And he points. You look down where Lumba is pointing, and 2 mushrooms have entered this amphitheater-like circle. And they are large. They're like the size of the Grick you just dealt with. Each of them.
Not quite the size of the original hunters that we dealt with coming inside.
Yes, they're like that big, but they appear far more intelligent. The 2 like guardian mushrooms that you dealt with were kind of like big loping animals. These are regal looking Myconids. They are aged and huge, and they raise their hands to all the Myconids around them. And you hear almost like a ripple of thought that moves from the center of this room back towards you. And you hear the closest of the Myconids around you, the hunters that have gathered around you. In your mind, you hear in unison, the time for the melding is at hand. And there's this, like... Whereas the other Myconid, the odd Myconid, was like this elated, almost euphoric, like, sense of manic joy. The sense that you get from these other Myconid is this peaceful, like, steady sense of joy and happiness that the melding has come. And you see these 2 creatures down below you, and Lumba reiterates, they are the Sovereigns. One is...
Whole lot of mushroom.
What's that?
It's a whole lot of mushroom.
There's a lot of mushrooms, and there are 2 very big mushrooms. It is a whole lot of mushroom. Lumba points to them, and you hear in your minds the wide one is Berildi. He has come to us with his circle. He wishes to speak with you. He is a wise sovereign. The one beside him, the purple one, that is Philo. Philo has been sovereign here for many, many generations of mushrooms. He was the first sovereign.
I figure out how to ask this question because we keep going back to time is time and things are things, and How long has he been around exactly?
Which?
Either one.
Philo is the one that ruled for longer, right? That's his name?
Yes.
Okay.
Philo has been sovereign since before I sprouted. I have seen many hundreds of mushrooms. Beraldi is as old as Philo, but is new to us, has only been around for 100 or 200 mushrooms. Harvests. I speak of harvests. Is that... Do you understand?
Philo wants to talk to us about something?
No. Beraldi wishes to speak with all of you. When our hunters spoke of outsiders in the caverns, he said that you may give us aid if you are not like the one who came before you, the one whose head you hold, the one who has become food. You seem to not be like him.
Well, we try not to be corrupted by whatever.
And Sarani, you do not smell the blight upon any of them.
Okay.
I'm dead, so I figure I'm doing pretty well.
You are untouched by the blight. That which corrupts. That which spoils.
How can you tell? Is it some kind of special sense you have?
You do not have the smell of it. The scent of
But
bad spores.
do we all smell the same, or do I smell maybe a little different? Maybe?
Different.
Just a little?
Different. All beings smell different. Blight has tainted the smell. You would call it rotten?
It's okay. I thought maybe you could help, but you know what? It doesn't matter. It's just interesting to, learn how other people see the world. Or smell the world in this case, I guess.
Do you not smell rotten food? Bad food when it goes spoiled?
Do your people know what a sailor is? Sometimes rotten food's the only food that's available, and you just get on with it.
Yes. But it makes you ill, weak. Yes?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Just, you know.
Do you guys know what caused him to spoil, quote unquote?
Burundi will speak of it.
He says
Is
this.
there any protocol in approaching them?
What's that?
On approaching them, we should know. I'm asking Lumba and Suriani.
You're asking Lumba. Wow, I'm sorry. It was kind of your voice was kind of muffled for a second. I missed
sorry.
you.
Is there any protocol on approaching them, or do we just walk up and ask?
Lumba looks at you. We will speak with them after the melding.
Cool.
Well, all this talk of melding and the day has come has got me thinking about my childhood growing up in a religious community, so I'm gonna go smoke my cigarette.
As you begin to walk out into the back to the grove where you were, or against a wall, or wherever you decide to go, the mushrooms begin to sway and form smaller circles all around the central circle. You see a very you see that Lumba leaves the hunter circle and goes down to where the sovereigns are, and forms a circle with several other older looking mushrooms similar to himself. And they form a circle, and all of the Myconids release spores at the same time. It fills the entire grove with these spores. I want to see if the spores affect you as well.
Martha's gonna kind of edge towards the wall at the end and then sit and lean against it and open up the book and kind of jostle through the pages.
That is fine. Are you like reading the book again, or just flipping through it?
I don't have comprehend languages, so
Okay.
I will just go through it and copy down stuff into my own book.
No problem. So they begin to sway in this odd way, and they are obviously all in communion with one another. And Sarani, you are joined with them as well, as they kind of enter this shared dream state. And everybody make a Constitution save.
What?
Would I get advantage on this save?
Yes, it is similar to being poisoned.
It's getting better.
All right. Mirth, you may resist if you so choose. Sarani, you may resist if you so choose. Luna, you cannot. Vasir, you cannot. Angus, you cannot. Or no, you have a 20. You have advantage. So Angus, you may if you so choose. Those of you who choose not to, or who choose, or who don't have a choice. You begin to hear the voices of the Myconids chanting in unison. And you enter this dreamlike state where you begin to see flashes of the lives of all of the Myconid who are in the grove, almost melding together as one. You experience the joys and the community that they feel in this state. Just this strange experience of living the lives of many, many generations of Myconids all at the same time. You know them all suddenly.
Uh huh.
You share their insights, their fears, their hopes, even their dreams. And even though you cannot contribute to the community that is this colony, you just get hit with waves of both visual and audible and mental sensations of these experiences that the Myconids have.
Okay.
This lasts for quite some time.
And we can't resist it anymore. We can't do it.
Those of you who failed the spell or failed the save, no, you well, you can try and come out of it every little bit. So whenever you feel, if you would like to try and resist, you may roll another Constitution save.
Okay.
Oh, I'm riding it like I always do.
No problem. Luna, Vasir, yeah, Luna, you are still going for that ride.
I think the highest roll today was a 5.
Somebody should gift you a advantage or a inspiration point just to kind of boost up your morale there.
That's fine.
Okay. So those of you who don't resist or can't resist will be in this state for the length of a long rest. You will have a long rest during that time. Those of you who do not, if you choose, you can just sit there and realize that this is going to last for several hours. Or you can take a long rest, or what would you like to do in the meantime? Every once in a while, those of you who want to resist, you will eventually fall asleep or continue to resist. But the melding lasts for 8 hours.
Well, I, for one, am perfectly happy to participate in this clearly very vital cultural exchange.
I would think nothing less.
Was again just sort of watching the swaying and the chanting, and it's all just like, yeah, seen this, been there, done that. Just puffing away on this monster cigarette, waiting to see if it has any effect.
Yeah. Yeah. That part of your soul that releases the bolts of necrotic energy, you can feel that energy kind of crackling through you right now.
Just gonna sort of experimentally sort of raise my hand up, wiggle my fingers, see if I can call up just a little grave bolt, just to see if it looks more powerful or more volatile or in any way different.
You try to control the power of your grave bolt as you call it up, and it shoots forth from your hand and rots away a chunk of small mushroom that is small comparatively. There's a toadstool that is big enough for you to sit on, and your necrotic bolt hits it and it rots it away. Mechanically speaking, your grave bolt is maximized.
My bad. Totally didn't mean to do that.
Mirth kind of looks up curiously from the corner as Angus blasts the fungus into pieces.
I'm in a fungus trance. I don't notice anything.
It could be the cigarillo. It could have just been chance. I should probably do it again, but these people have been kind of nice to us. I don't want to go wrecking their home. Maybe give it a try some other time. Just gonna carefully sort of
You do that.
half-smoked cigarette back into my pocket.
At this point, you all can take a long rest, regardless of whether you're part of the melding or not, or engaged in the melding or not.
Okay. I get all my spells back.
Yes. Some of you, like I said, you kind of fall asleep experiencing this euphoric state, and others of you just fall asleep watching it. Just kind of where you are. And the next morning, Sarani, you come out of the melding and you see the strange creatures that have been brought to your circle, to your colony, laying about around you.
Like they're unconscious or
They are
injured?
asleep.
Oh.
Thank you for gifting that sub. You do too much, man.
Oh, that's no big deal. I want everybody to have a good time. I'll let them sleep for a little bit longer, but if they stay asleep longer than another, I don't know, half hour, I'll wake them up.
Okay. So the lumbering creature awakens each one of you.
What's going on?
It's time to get up. Waken. Unfurl yourselves.
Luna is I'm gonna say a bit annoyed because she doesn't like losing control of herself.
It was a very strange and unnerving experience for you. Although not necessarily unpleasant, but absolutely strange and unnerving.
Yeah.
It's a forced pleasant experience, which, not always the best thing.
No. You didn't know what was going on. You had no idea how to deal with it. Loomba approaches you.
They are here, Loomba.
I will take
They
you.
are
I will take you to the Sovereign if you are ready to go.
Ready? How's everybody else feeling?
Yeah, give me a sec, and I kind of roll over from where I dozed off, and then curse as I almost impale myself with my sword as it turns from a flute into a blade. And I kind of drag myself to my feet and tuck the book into my pocket. Say, all right, I'm ready. Whew. Let's go.
Okay.
As Angus sort of snaps back to wakefulness out of his sort of meditative trance state, you notice that he seems a little bit more unsettled than usual, and that he probably had a particularly vivid dream last night.
Before Vasir gets ready to go, he kind of does some sort of morning morning exercises, jogging around the place a little bit, some stretches beforehand, push-ups, sit-ups, all those sorts of things, keeping himself in good shape and waking himself up in a somewhat unorthodox manner.
Okay.
Luna's just watching Bazir, and she's holding her left shoulder. And just watching the rest of the party, but mostly Bazir. Finding him pleasant, I think is the word.
Morning entertainer.
Yeah.
As you look around, Vasir, as you do your routine, you see Luna kind of paying attention and not sure if she is amused at your antics or what. You're not really sure what to make of that. But at the same time, you've been kind of working at this routine. You've noticed Myconid around this part of this chamber on this top terrace here are tending to the soil and encouraging plant life to grow, and essentially farming. You also look around and see that there are Myconid coming from below and harvesting this hardy-looking scaled mushrooms off the walls of the cavern and carrying them down below. And if you all look as you kind of wander by, Sarani leading you down with Lumba to the lower levels of this chamber, you notice that they're constructing things using these sturdy mushrooms. As you enter the central basin of this cavern, there's that phosphorescent kind of lake in the center of it, and nearby is a huge mushroom. It's probably the size of like a small building, and the stalk in the center of this mushroom is not hugely thick, but the cap covers a large area around it, and beneath it are the two sovereigns sitting with three other humanoid-sized Myconids, and several of those huge awakened mushrooms that you had encountered earlier, the guardian mushrooms, stand over these beings protectively. Lumba bows as he approaches them. Sovereigns, these are the soft ones who have entered our grove. You wished to speak with them.
All right, we're looking at the sovereigns now.
Yes, they bring you down to the sovereigns once you've finished gathering your doing your morning activities. Like Lumba comes up and asks if you're ready to go to the sovereigns, and whether the group of you were not as you were doing your morning tasks. Him and Sarani just kind of start leading you down, and you get the impression from the spores, that these rapport spores that have caused you to be able to understand them, that this is that, like, we're going. You know what I mean? Like, finish up whatever you're doing because we're taking you there. Is kind of the impression that you get by come with us. And now they kind of lead you down through this mushroom village, seeing what all these Myconids are doing, and they lead you to this central sitting area where these sovereigns are.
Okay. We follow them, I guess.
So if you had
let's
role
see what they
playing
have.
moments that you were still doing, you can catch up to them as you go. But some of you may have just gone down.
For one thing, when Vasir notices that Luna is sort of like paying attention to him, and he seems to be her sort of morning entertainment, one way or the other, whether or not it's laughing at him or being interested in watching him just do stuff, he's going to add some extra bits to his routine, such as while he's running, just sort of like do a front flip every once in a while. Maybe like a one-handed cartwheel, things like that. Just adding a little bit of flair and spice to it. And eventually he'll sort of like round his way back over to Luna and continue sort of like stretching a little bit as he winds himself back down. So, feeling any better?
Yeah. A rest well needed. Much needed.
You're sort of holding your shoulder a bit. Anything wrong? Dislocated or feeling sore?
Yeah, perhaps a bit from the fight.
I
Yesterday.
see. Um, well, if you'd like, I'm somewhat skilled with my hands. I can maybe, I don't know, push out some of the soreness.
No, it's okay. Thank you, Vizier.
Okay, yeah, no problem. That was a little that's a little weird. That was a little weird of me. Not gonna lie, that was a little weird. Um,
No, it's okay. It was sweet. Don't worry about it.
uh, I think we're gonna have to leave here soon. I'm gonna go ahead and head ahead. You go ahead and join whenever you're ready. Um, I'm gonna try not to continue embarrassing myself any further.
She just smiles at him, watching him leave. And before we continue, she just asked about the grimoire, the black book. If Mirth is done with it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know why I was hanging on to it so fervently the other day. My bad. I'll kind of hand it to her.
Okay, thank you. And she puts it in her bag.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of jog to catch up to Angus. Be like, hey, cards, come here.
Sure. I could go for a game.
Oh no,
What is it?
maybe another time. But got a quick question for you before we go down to meet the big mushrooms. What happened last night?
As
You seem
in,
jumpy. Sorry, you seem jumpy.
it's like I dream, I get flashes, I get bits and pieces, and I know her name. One of them, I know her name now.
Mhm.
Isabel Webster. It's
Oh,
not much, but maybe I can find out who she was, what she did, and it might help to know what I'm supposed to be doing, if I'm even supposed to be doing anything.
a name can be a lot more than just a name. I don't even know my mom's name, and I know that would be very meaningful to me if I happened to pick that up. So, congratulations, then.
Thanks. It's maybe the first step towards being able to put this whole mess of my many pasts together. And it's, yeah, just a relief, I guess.
There's like a lot to take in. good luck with that. I hope you get to know Isabel well.
The flute that turns into a sword, that's kind of neat. Is there a story behind it?
Yeah, big story behind this one. And I'll pull Solus out from my pocket, I guess. And kind of hand it to him, and I'll tell him this
I
is
mean,
a.
I know you told us that you inherited it after your next oldest sibling had died, that it goes down the line, but who made it originally?
Nobody made it, actually. My mother. I don't know her name. I know of her. This was a. Well, this is the only piece of her that my family has left. She and my father took refuge in the dunes, and I'm hoping deep inside that somewhere one of my siblings might still be out there. I'm missing the youngest one and the one I care for the most. So I hope to find him one day. But back to the sword. This is actually my mother's left horn. And she was herself a great musician. One of the few memories I have of her is her singing us to sleep inside the little tents we camped in throughout the dunes. And the people on the boats would come by with their food, and they'd shelter us for a bit. And then eventually the people from Ravenreach came with their swords and their fire, and they drove us out. My mother was hacked at. This is the chunk of her that was cut off during the battle, right before she was sent away forever by one of their mages. And her lullabies still live into it today, and all of our names are carved into the haft. And I flick it out into sword form and show him the series of 9 runes etched across the side. And you'll notice that the top 3 are glowing a lot more dimly than the ones further down. And I'll point them out to him and name my siblings as I go down the line. But
Do we
that's
hear
the
this,
story.
by the way?
I'm not trying to hide it.
Anybody who is within earshot absolutely hears the story he is telling Angus.
So Luna's listening close. Just curious.
So he goes down the line. He starts at the top. This one is Grace. This one is Summer. I don't know both of them. I was too young to, but apparently they were great. And I think one of my brothers has a portrait of one of them. He moves to the third one and his finger shakes for a second before stopping on it. This was Charity, the brother who came before me, and the previous one to hold the sword. And then as he moves down the line, the runes get slightly brighter than the ones further up. He gets to the middle one and he says, "This is me." Then he moves further down. "This is Joy. I know where she is. She's having a child soon, and hopefully I'll get to make it back before then. But we'll have to see what the officials of Ravenreach have to say about that." Further down, the 8th one down the line. "This is Pride. Another brother. He is currently behind bars for attempting to get our mother back onto this world." And then he slowly moves to the last one, and he tells you, this is Silver. He's the youngest brother and the last one born before my mother was driven from Oregon. I know he's out there, his rune tells me, but I have no idea where he could be. I'm just hoping someday we'll be reunited. Flute. And I give it a flourish and it turns into a flute.
I'm really sorry.
No,
I guess
it's okay.
we're both looking for something. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll try to help. I'll do what I can. Two pairs of eyes has got to be better than one, right? We'll look. See if we can
Absolutely.
dig up some hints. And I know it may not be much reconciliation. It may not help all that much. And it will most likely be a long time before we're far enough north for it to matter. But my parents are still in Darkhaven. It's not exactly Ravenreach, but it's somewhere close by that would probably be safe. I know that they would take care of you if we ever end up there.
I'll remember that. Thanks. What's your name again? I never bother with names. They come and go as I move. So.
It's weird. When you asked that, I had this moment where I wanted to say Isabel. But it's Angus. Angus O'Galvin.
I'll do my best to keep that in mind. And I'll give him a big grin, and I tuck the flute into my belt.
But hey,
and I'll skip on.
If you forget, Cardsworks is a nickname. We'll have a game soon.
Absolutely.
At this point, you've all arrived before the Sovereigns, and as I said, Lumba introduces you as the soft ones from the surface. And both Sovereigns and several Myconids adults are sitting around this mushroom canopy, and guarded by these awakened, hulking mushroom guardians. And they greet you. At least Philo does. He kind of towers above the others that are sitting there. He has multiple mushroom caps that sway with the shifting of his stalky movements. And he kind of spreads the spores to you and says, "You are safe, friendly softers. You arrive at a wondrous time. The grove is on the verge of greatness. Something marvelous is happening with our people. Celebrate, as the day of joy is nigh."
The spore? Did you say the spore?
He spread spores so that you could understand him. They don't speak; they communicate telepathically.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, I would ask you if you would mind avoiding the plateau to the east of where we now sit. For the Circle of Masters is preparing a wondrous and glorious surprise for all of the circles in the grove. We do not wish it to be spoiled, and you bring forth with you the creatures of the surface world that may destroy what we grow there.
Do we know what's on the east?
He's talking about the east of where of this right now. You just look up and you see that there's like a towering wall, like cliff wall, and that it plateaus at the top, to the east of where you're standing.
Yeah. Okay.
The great cedar comes. She lives beyond the garden. Her day is coming, and she will bring forth joy to our people. The melding will become so much more than it already is.
Do these guys sound alright?
Make an insight check.
Oh, lovely.
I'm gonna move a little closer. I'm not quite in the group, so I'm gonna move closer to the sovereign. I don't normally get too close to them,
Right.
but I'm gonna move a little closer than I usually do. Probably
Okay.
about 15 feet.
Okay.
Do I notice anything different about him today?
About which sovereign? The one who's speaking?
Yes.
Philo has grown different over weeks and months. You give me a perception roll.
Okay.
Mirth, he just seems like he is speaking similarly to the one Myconid that had passed you, and so you don't notice anything unusual about what he's saying. Sarani,
24.
Sarani, I will tell you this, okay? Philo smells different. Different in a way that you refuse to accept. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. I'll move back towards Burundi and see if I notice the same thing.
No. You don't. But there's no way that a sovereign could ever succumb to the blight. There's no way.
Philo's the one that fixed me, right?
No. Beraldi fixed you.
Brody. Okay. Trying to keep those two straight.
Beraldi is the wider one. He is the newer of the sovereigns. And
Right.
as you sit there, he remains kind of quiet. He is not. He's spread his rapport spores, but he is not communicating as gregariously as Philo is.
Okay.
He's just kind of sitting back and watching all that happens.
Okay. I'll stay where I'm at.
Beraldi speaks, sends out a thought after a few moments. Why have you come to our grove?
I can speak for at least my own reasons. Originally, we came here because we were tracking down a guy who had been, well, heavily screwed up in the head thanks to a book that he had been given. And when we tracked him here, he turned into a big mushroom monster. Not saying that you guys are monsters, but he was a human and then turned into a big thing that wanted to kill us, so I think that's a fair assessment. And then after that, your people said that they needed us to prove ourselves worthy of the hunt, so to speak. I still don't exactly know what that means, but then they sent us over to kill a big thing that was like all stone and tentacles and a beak, and we did. And now we're here because you guys said you needed help with something, so helping people is what we do.
What kind of monster did he turn into?
Well, it was a little strange. His body just sort of like flayed open, and then a new beast sort of came out. Was a big giant thing. It still had like sort of a humanoid-esque head and tentacles all over its back, just flailing all over the place. And he kept spewing out these spores that would turn into more fungus things that would then attach themselves to walls and start spewing more spores at us. And it was a little crazy.
When you say that, Serenian gets down on all fours, lifts his head up a little bit, and you see some of his vines kind of writhe on his back and his shoulders. Like this?
Kind of like that. They weren't vines though. They were more like solid tentacles.
Yes. That was a shambling mound. That shouldn't have happened. This is more grave than I thought. I speak, in mind speak to Burundi. I'm like, this is a bad omen.
Philo cuts in before Beraldi can answer. Your fears will be comforted when the cedar, the great cedar, brings forth her joy to our people. These things you speak of, she will remove them from these lands. She will cleanse this blight that you speak of. All will be well. Sarani, one of the things that you can sense, knowing how the spores, the rapport spores, and how the melding works, having been with them for the time that you have, you can tell that there is a dissonance in the harmony between Philo and Beraldi. They don't. There's something that is troubling between them. Though they seem to sit there in in unity. There is something that's there. Beraldi will speak up after Philo says that, and you hear in your minds his kind of booming voice. You should be introduced to the other circles besides the hunters. If you are to celebrate, as Philo says, you should know those whom you celebrate with, and you should know our ways. Will you allow me to show you our grove, where you may go, and where you may not, and where you may rest, more comfortably than you may have before?
DM,
Sure,
do we
that
sense?
sounds nice.
Do we sense Surani is not is worried, perhaps?
Yeah, give me anybody who wants to make an insight check into this conversation may do so.
Insights.
Oh, Mirth, that's a little better.
Oh,
Luna,
finally!
nice.
That's a lot better.
Woo! Luck turned around for you. There you go. Angus, this is all somewhat alien to you. And the Philos talking of the Great Cedar and stuff like that has kind of turned you off to the entire conversation. You getting those senses of that same religious zeal that you grew up around.
I would like to note that when he hears them referring to the cedar as her, there's like this sort of little flash of attention. He sort of meekly tries to call attention. Hi, I'm Angus, and he sort of tries to bow in the way that Lumba did, and it's just a little bit awkward. I don't want to get all bent out of shape over something as silly as pronouns, but Shepard referred to a lady that he was serving. That wouldn't happen to be the same lady as your cedar, would it?
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Philo looks at you, and you hear in your minds, I know not of this shepherd you speak of, so I could not know if we speak of the same lady. I know of no lady. I only know that she is the cedar, and she will bring joy to all of us.
I reach into my pack, pull out the severed head, and just sort of hold it out so that the symbol on his forehead is visible, and just sort of directly ask, "Look familiar?"
What symbol?
The symbol that's carved into the head of Shepherd. I have seen this symbol before.
Uh-huh.
That's the only answer that you get. Luna, Mirth, you can immediately pick up that Sarani seems curious about what is going on in this situation. But more so, you can see that you can get this strong sense that Basida or Beraldi is incredibly, incredibly uncomfortable with the things that Philo is saying.
Funky.
Did we realize he was talking about the same woman that Shepard was talking about?
He did not answer clearly whether he is talking about that. He simply states that he knows that symbol.
Yeah, I mean, I meant that by now, Luna's very
Oh, okay.
suspicious.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And
she-
but he said that the symbol on his forehead and in the book was the symbol for the demon queen of
Fungus and rot.
fungus and rot. Yeah, sounds familiar.
Beraldi pipes up once more. You should see the rest of the grove. Shall I guide you? Softers.
Can do that.
Sovereign Philo, I will take your leave. I trust that you and the other masters can continue without me. Let me show our guests our home. If they intend to stay for some time, it would be prudent that they know our ways. Philo nods to him, almost dismissively. Are all of you okay with going with Beraldi? Or is there more?
Okay is kind of overstating it.
Yeah.
We're gonna go along with
I feel
it,
like
but we're not gonna
I
be
feel like
happy.
I have to. It's not that I want to, but I feel like I have to.
Okay. You. Yes, go ahead.
Before we continue. Just wanted to say that Luna looks at Angus, and perhaps sending a sign that. Are you thinking what I'm thinking about the demon thing? Yeah,
Yeah,
that we should be on our guard moving forward.
just gonna use a sort of very casual gesture, just make it look like someone's scratching your ear, but sort of just gesturing to my eyes of like, yep, eyes open.
And I guess we should warn the rest moving forward a bit.
Just sort of nod and sort of gesture ahead towards Visir. Sort of, you take him, I'll try to fill in Mirth.
if you all don't mind, I need to take another short break. I promise this one will not be as long as the last one. It'll just be like a minute or two. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want, feel free to interact with chat. I'll leave the audio running.
Excellent.
Nice chat today. Averaging around like 14, 15.
Yep,
Fairly
got a couple
consistently.
of new ones. Got a couple of people posting for us.
That's always
So-
nice.
Yep.
Hello, everyone out there in Chatland.
Just in case you came in on the kind of end of that, Sarani's new to the party and is being introduced tonight. So there's still a little skepticism from the main group as to its intentions.
Honestly, Vasir doesn't have an issue. What he is questioning though is if Sarani is going to end up like perhaps having to travel with us on a more longer term basis for whatever reason. We can't exactly take him into towns. Like people are not going to be okay with a giant vine creature lumbering into their gates.
I have a disguise kit. I can come up with something.
Like we can be like a shrubbery crew, and he can be the little plant we're carrying around.
Yeah, I will say that while I am looking forward, and one of my goals is to see the upland, I don't do well in the sunlight. So
More
we'll
of a dark and damp person.
yeah, I'm not really a day guy kind of person. You know, and the myconoids and the fungus don't have genders, so it's he's been Mark's been referring to Sarani as a he, but there's not an actual gender there,
Right.
which is why the voice changes
Yeah, of course.
depending on its mood or its feelings or whatever. Hey, Lion Lord.
What exactly is the species of?
Well, to be honest, we made it up today.
Oh. Well, dang.
Blighted fungal mound, right?
A blighted fungal mound, which is I had to. So that's not the official name yet. I can go back and change it. But the issue is I had to put something into D&D Beyond, so I could use it as a race. So we went through the stuff, and I don't want to give too much away because I'm going to explain some of it while the characters interact.
Yeah.
So, but I had to come up with a name, and all I could think of is, since it was what we were doing, and I was like, I'm partly a fungus, partly a shambling mound, and kind of whatever. It's a blighted fungal mound, and that's what I put down.
So you're like basically you're like Shepherd, but you got saved. Or we're not supposed to know this yet.
You're not supposed to know this kind of stuff yet. We'll get into that later. I don't know how much he wants to tell you or how much he wants me to tell you. It's more of a character development kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, so for you guys to get to know Sarani and find out what it's all about. But yeah, this was a way that we could introduce a tank type character into the group without having to. Well, why is this ogre, or why is this half a orc down here wandering around by himself?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, how do you
this
get here?
means
It's like-
the seer won't be dying all the time now.
Yeah. I'm perfectly happy with not being the one who has to die all the time.
Yeah,
but
let's put the mound of vines in front of whatever's smacking you guys.
I am kind of upset by that because I activated my power. I used my hunter's mark, and you killed it before
And
I
then
did.
it died.
Real quick.
Why did
I
you
li-
need a tank? Really? Like
I literally didn't get a turn.
Literally. Out
I
of
literally
character.
didn't get to do anything.
There were
Well-
people laying out a lot of damage in that battle. I was lied to.
I was lied to. I was told that you guys
Trust me.
initiative. The monk
Many of our
falls
fights, have gone way worse than that.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
was
I
that
was
was an
lied to.
exception.
I was told initiative happened. The turn of events is initiative happens. The monk runs in, hits somebody, gets hit, goes unconscious. The cleric drags him away while the rest of the party hides behind rocks and shoots at him.
Oh, yes, usually that is what happens.
So
Okay.
that
All right.
was
We're shaking it up tonight.
Let's focus it up. So,
okay.
Some insight into our party dynamic there. Before Beraldi and you leave the circle of the sovereigns, Philo says one more time, if you desire, considering your concerns, when you return, I can show you the surprise that awaits on the Eastern Plateau in the Circle of Welcome. And you will see that it is nothing to fear. I can sense that you are worried. There is nothing to be frightened about. There is only joy, and I will share a peek of that joy with you as we prepare. Would that soothe your fears, Softers?
I think it would just be best if we
Took a walk first.
yeah.
Yeah.
Beraldi bows to Philo, not in deference, but as to an equal, and you hear his thoughts, or its thoughts, send out to Philo and to all of you, saying, they can decide that upon returning from the rest of the grove and meeting the other of the masters. I will turn them to you when we return, so you may show them that which you desire to show them. Softers, if you would follow me, let us go and see the other circles. I know you have met the Circle of Hunters. And he starts shuffling, kind of waving for you to to follow.
So what are we gonna do, Angus?
Are you all following him?
Just see if you can have a quiet word with Vizier. Get us all on the same page. I think for the moment, we play it cool.
I'll scoop up my flute and I'll pipe out a merry song as I follow Burundi.
Excellent.
And Luna approaches Vizier, and she quietly tells him, be on your guard. Something feels wrong here.
The first place that Beraldi takes you is the Circle of Spores. This circle, this mound, is devoted to sporing new Myconids. Freshly spored members of our circles. They grow here first. And you can see that there are tiny little Myconids, only a few inches tall, kind of sprouting from this dirt. Yerbop is the circle leader of this circle, and he agrees with Philo about the day of joy being nigh. He passes along up onto the southern terrace and tells you, this is where the circle of explorers lie. It is a temporary place for restless wanderers. They are our scouts, watching at the gates of our grove. Rasharu, he is one of the masters and their leader. He agrees that perhaps caution should be met with this day of joy. I wish to tell you that, and you're walking like, you're on the farthest part of the path of this like circular bowl of a cavern that you're in, and as soon as you get to like the furthest point from where you were sitting with Philo, Baraldi starts transmitting this kind of message to your minds. I would warn you that remaining here among us is normally quite safe for softers. We offer refuge. We abhor violence. We want nothing but peace, and to meld, and to grow. But now is not a time for softers to be visiting. We had some softers visit, not many cycles ago. Philo took them to see what is in the circle of welcome. They did not return from there. He says that they found the joy they were seeking, but I do not think that was so. I would warn you not to stay here long. Sadly, it is a strange time for us, and I believe dangerous. I would ask that you would not go with him to see what is up there. However, I would ask that you would do so for me, quietly, and find out what is going on within our grove. And he kind of continues to walk, and he shows you, this is where the growers' circle is. They ensure that our soil remains fertile, and that fungus will grow for us here, to be food. Hopefully, he is a good leader and is concerned with what Philo speaks of. Here, we have the Circle of Builders. The builder, Gasbide, he helps Philo build the surprise. Do you understand what I am telling you?
Yes.
He stops
Yeah.
before returning. Like, you've made a circle around the outer edge of the bowl, and before returning back down to where the masters sit, he stops and asks you this. Do you all understand what I am trying to tell you?
I think so. I just have one question. You keep talking about this time of joy. Is that like an annual thing?
No.
Is it on the calendar? Or is this more of a prophesized event?
It is neither. It is something that Sovereign Philo has been spreading amongst the younger of our people. He has been segregating the circles more and more during the meldings, saying that they must prepare for the day of joy which is coming. We have never seen this before, but Sovereign Philo says the cedar will arrive, and that is the day of joy. I do not know of this. I have not heard of this, and I fear that it is not joy that is coming. Those of our circles, those of our grove, who speak of this day of joy, do so with a heart of euphoria that is beyond that which any Myconid knows. We seek peaceful community. We take joy in being one. They seek joy in something else, and they see it as if they are under the influence of a disease spore of some kind, something not normally of the Myconid.
How do you suggest we get out?
You can leave whenever you wish, but as I said, we are peaceful people, and this disease spreads among us. I wish to know what is upon the plateau. I think if you go there with Philo, that you will not come back. But I believe that if you can find a way to get up there unknown, without the Sovereign's presence, the other Sovereign's presence, that you may find out what is there, and you can maybe tell me what is happening to my people. If you do this for me, if you can find out what is happening, if you can help us, I have some things that may help you, and I have ways of maybe offering you aid in return. A reward for your aid. But Philo and the masters who agree with him, they cannot know your purpose. Do you understand?
And Angus speaking sort of very deliberately, slightly louder than normal. I think it's very important that Philo know that having this group of softers here is possibly the best thing that could have happened to him for this upcoming day of joy, because we happen to be a troop of very entertaining individuals. I mean, this guy right here, he points to Vizier, has some of the most astounding acrobatic tricks that you could ever have seen. And Mirth, my buddy Mirth, he is amazing on that flute of his. I like to consider myself a pretty dab hand on the banjo. And looks across to Luna and just panics and goes, Luna can dance? And so I think that we will find a quiet place, wink, for us to rehearse and give Philo a demonstration of the kind of performance that we could put on for this wonderful upcoming day of joy.
Well, I've never really performed with a group before. It probably would be a good idea to rehearse a bit.
Of course, we want to be our best.
You do
Should we
not.
take the long passage?
So you do not understand.
Wink, wink, wink.
They understand human subtlety.
I
Lu-
believe
Lu-
they are in
Luna,
agreement, Sovereign.
I am sorry, Sarani.
I believe they are in agreement, Sovereign.
You, the pale one with the pointy ears, softer. What word do you have?
Luna approaches in, and as quiet, with a very quiet voice and calming voice, she says, "Thank you."
He tilts his head in a way that is like a, that indicates like a gentle thanks, and you can feel it through the rapport spores. A welcoming and a grateful response. He reaches out one huge fungal hand and places it upon your shoulder, the cold shoulder, and pulls it away.
Okay.
Like he goes to pat you like gently on the shoulder, and as soon as he touches your shoulder, he kind of pulls his hand away. I can make potions from the fungus here. I am very practiced. Kind of resounds through your minds.
That kind of potion, or just a normal potion?
Many different kinds. It depends on how long you would be willing to wait for them. And I can give you this if you are in agreement. And he kind of reaches into some kind of fungal pocket that he has on his being, and pulls out a moldy old scroll case and holds it out.
Okay.
I look for people's permission to observe it, or rather, take it.
I reach out and take it from his hand and then turn and offer it to the group.
Else here versed in the ways of the arcane.
Not me. I'm more into the whole natural energies thing.
All right. Then with Saruni's permission, Mirth will take the scroll and unravel it.
What languages do you read again, Mirth?
Sorry?
What languages can you read again?
I can read Common, Deep Speech, Draconic, Elvish, Infernal, and Undercommon.
Okay. It is a scroll of protection against fiends, and it is written in Elvish.
Okay.
So would that be a scroll against protection from evil and goods, but for fiends?
Yes, it specifies fiends.
So,
I do not know if this will aid you, but I think it may.
well, it'll come in handy. Thank you.
If there's a possibility, Luna would want to try and talk to him alone, if possible.
Okay. Baraldi.
When nobody's paying attention, if you
Right, I know what you're saying. Baraldi turns to Sarani. You will go with them.
Me?
Yes. You are like us, but not of us. You're someone who can be between them and us. You can help them understand in ways that I cannot. They will need your aid, I think.
As you wish.
And he kind of gives a gracious nod of just kind of that shows both gratitude and respect that you are willing to follow his wisdom. I must return to the other masters. You should find elsewhere to be for some small time, or Philo will try to drag you into his visit. Do you understand?
Angus is still just aggressively winking.
Are you injured?
No, I am fine, and we are going to rehearse.
God.
Very well.
Baraldi kind of nods and takes his leave of you. And Sarani, you know where you can bring them. You can bring them to where the the Circle of Explorers is. That is a place for that's the place for creatures like that are traveling and scouting. Myconids that scout. So that's probably a good place to have them practice and rest, if you would, is there. Luna, if you want to catch up to the Sovereign before he gets back to the circle, he does not move very fast, so you can probably catch up to him.
Yes, she'll try that.
Okay. You run up to him, and he senses your presence, and he turns and looks down at you. Yes, little softer?
She's a bit embarrassed by telling him this. She asks if he felt it, and she points at her shoulder.
Your kind is not normally so cold. It was a shock.
She asked, can you help me with this?
If you give me time, if you aid us. But I fear that if you remain here, it would be dangerous for all of you. But I think I may be able to help in some way. I can try.
If you can help me with this, I'll be forever grateful to you.
He seems thoughtful.
Okay.
He
She rejoins the group.
well, he hasn't like dismissed you yet. He is clearly thinking.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And she kind of pulls off her jacket just to show how bad it is.
okay. Oh, my little one. You are suffering greatly. Um, he believes that he can help you to some degree. And he tells you he will try to make a potion, but it may take several days.
It doesn't matter as long as he can help.
I will try.
And she kind of gets a bit cheered up to hearing the first glimpse of hope since since a while, and she'll return to the party.
Okay.
As she gets back, I figure Mirth might have finally noticed she's lagging behind, so he'll just be calling out ears as she approaches. And then he waves her down and says, "Hey, where were you?"
She tells him that she lost she forgot something and she went back for it.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, losing something in this cave, I'm never gonna get it back.
Good thing you found it. I hope you found it at least.
Yeah, it's right here, and she just points at her pocket.
Oh, great. Cool.
Shall we?
We shall.
Ronnie's just kind of plodding along, not in a hurry, but he notices that everybody's not here, so he's just kind of just kind of we're getting there, but not in any real hurry.
Everybody else a little weirded out by basically everything. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of bad stuff going on that we're not being told. Is that just me?
That Philo guy's definitely missing a few silver off his gold, if you know what I mean.
I sense a great evil might be coming our way.
Yeah, my name is Mirth, and that guy is just way too happy for his own good.
We should wait till we get to the Explorer Circle before we discuss this. There are spores everywhere.
Yeah.
Good idea, Mushroom Man.
Mushroom Man.
Mushroom Man is a little too redundant. We should call him Plant Man.
Swamp Thing.
Because he's many plants.
I think I'll call him Vines from now on.
Vines?
Okay, but genuinely the only thing going through my head is Swamp Thing.
Yes. Mirth, if you haven't noticed, Mirth kind of gives everybody nicknames.
All right.
Yeah. I have a habit from
Wait,
the last few years of just not sticking onto actual names.
Being that Sharp-Eyed can't really, speak to any of you, he's been quiet this whole time.
Hey, what do you call me? Is
You?
that out loud?
Is that out loud? Person? Right, there's a wizard folk with you guys?
Yep.
Oh yes, Sharp Eye.
Yes, Sharp-Eyed kind of has been silent this whole time because he can't. He understands the rapport spores, but you guys wouldn't understand him thinking through the rapport spores. Well, maybe you would. I think you need to. I don't think you need to share a language. But
Nope.
this is, yeah, I didn't think so. But he has remained quiet because this is beyond his level of understanding. This is all very alien and strange to him, and a couple of times throughout the conversations, you've heard his thoughts kind of mumble, "We should just eat them all. They are all food. They're just plants." We killed the shepherd. I should go home. But these people have fought with me. And maybe I will find new and interesting food here. What can I make out of that creature? They're interesting looking. And things of that nature.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So I will give you all the option. Do you want to kind of settle with this as a good ending point? Or would you like to attempt to see what is on the plateau?
I'm okay. We can continue.
For another hour or so.
Okay.
This is, of course.
I'm good forever.
Bookist calls for plateau.
All right, Twitch chat, what do you think? Do we head to the plateau?
So far, you've got
Cast.
one yes.
Cast your votes.
Cast your votes.
On with plateau.
Bookish just wants to see me get eaten.
Fair. You are
You want somebody to
probably part of a balanced diet.
Yes. Oh, definitely they're going to have the salad first, right? Before they move on to the meat.
Not that there's a whole lot on Vasir, but hey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're hors d'oeuvres. You're the appetizer. You're the app. Hey, we don't talk about fire around the plant people. All right, Bookist? We just don't do that.
I mean, he's not Hoff. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're all.
I definitely wouldn't play a plant person around Hoff.
For those of you who don't know, in our Friday game, Hoff is our Ergonasi cleric of light, and he lit the airship on fire.
Can we ask why?
Oh, yeah, we can discuss that another time. For now,
His
you
favorite
all.
spell is Flaming Sphere.
Yes, the Ergonasi cleric's favorite spell is Flaming Sphere. In any event, you're all sitting on the Circle of Explorers, kind of discussing what it is you're going to discuss. And one of the Myconid come over to you. The day of joy is nigh.
Which circle does it belong to?
It is a builder.
A builder? I shoo him along. Be gone.
Sovereign,
You are not an explorer. Be gone.
Sovereign Philo has sent me to ask if the Softers are ready to visit the plateau, if they wish to see what he is making for the surprise for the day of joy.
No,
The
sorry.
Softers-
We're busy right now.
The Softers are not used to working as hard as they have. They need more rest. We will send for you when they feel ready. More likely tomorrow.
As you wish. Rest, Softers, for the day of joy is soon to come, and you must be ready to exalt in the joy that is coming. It will be grand. It will be more than you can imagine. Sovereign Philo has told us it will be so. And it kind of wanders off back down into the lower levels.
It's been getting worse. More and more are becoming unwell. I don't understand.
Suspicions.
I am not like them. I am not a Myconid. I am
Where are you?
something else. I don't know. I am the only one of my kind as far as I can see down here. I am
Cool.
fungus,
An oddity.
but mound.
Maybe I'm not being clear enough. We have suspicions, not necessarily of you, more of what you're talking about. Um, this whole thing feels extremely off. The day of joy, the time of joy, the whatever it is that they're talking about. Do you know any details as to this lady that they revere so heavily?
No, it is a mystery to all of us. It seems that and he stops for a second, and then he kind of you can see the vines kind of twitch, like he's uncomfortable, like he's really uncomfortable, like somebody would be twiddling their thumbs or their eyes darting back and forth.
Sarani, you don't remember,
And,
but you have flashes, just for your own information. You know what I'm talking about. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
yes,
Okay.
yes. The Philo seems to be infected. He seems off. I didn't want to believe it, but with all of the talk and all of the concern that Burundi has, I have to accept the fact that Philo is being affected by the blight. The Burundi saved me. I was made by the blight, by the mounds and the fungus. How I became aware, I do not know, but the Myconids found me, the hunters and explorers found me and brought me back, and Burundi used his skills with potions and magic to cleanse the blight from me. But it was difficult for him. He doesn't have the power to do it to another sovereign, let alone multiple circles. There's no way for us. The lady is the blight, or comes from it. I'm not sure. I don't remember much. It's strange, but I do not trust her, and I do not think she is here for joy. I think she is here to bring pain and blight to all.
See, you're not familiar with what's been going on the surface. So, quick rundown. There's been a lot of funguses that have been growing up top, mushroom type things, that have been infecting living people like us, and also like our friend here, as he points over to Sharp Eye, turning us into corrupted, vile, zombified creatures that are just filled to the brim with spores.
Were they yellow?
I don't know, were they yellow?
Yellow. Yes,
Yeah,
yellow.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. You're familiar?
Yes. very bad. They kill and then they animate their food to go find more food.
So, do you know what causes them to exist?
No.
Well, here's the connection we're making. Our shepherd, the head priest, the guy who talks to gods, up there, he found a book, started reading the book, and then I guess he just started progressively going crazy. And everywhere he would go, he would leave these funguses. Um, and then when we tracked him down here, he said that he served a particular lady. And then he turned into a fungus creature.
Did she have a name?
Did he give us a name? I don't
No,
think
he did not.
did.
He never did.
Do you have the book?
We have the book. It's not
May I
advisable
see
to
it?
read it, though.
No, may I see it?
Sure, show him the book.
Luna takes out the book from her backpack and she tells him, "Be careful. It has a habit of making us mad." And she looks at Mirth.
Well, making him mad.
All right, I
He
take the
keeps
book.
trying to read it. I don't know why.
What's the cover look like?
Interesting.
It's like you immediately realize this is made. This book is covered in what looks like a black toughened mushroom hide.
Oh. Can I make a guess or should I roll first?
About what?
Zugmatoy?
Um,
Or the regional version of Zugmatoy?
yeah,
that's what I was
you
thinking.
don't
I
know
just
that it
didn't
would
know.
go by that name, but
Right.
um,
The
Wait, of
the evil
fungus and
ooze
rock.
fungus god.
yes. Do you what languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Druidic, and Primordial.
Okay. You can use that as you can make that educated guess. I will neither confirm nor deny that that is the case, but I don't think that my denial will mean anything to you at this point.
I will mention that it's we'll continue to call her the lady. I'm assuming she doesn't have a name that's recognizable to me.
No.
It is the god of slimes, molds, the evil fungus. She breeds the blight. She is her, the one.
You get flashes of all of this memory from when you were a part of it, before you were healed. Just images of her flashing through your mind. Make a Constitution save.
Oh. Okay. Got a good constitution.
DM, have we heard of this god before?
Give me a religion roll, and Sarani, you master yourself before the visions drive you to fear. Mirth, absolutely. Luna, you've heard things as well. In the gods of Oridon are plainly known, but the evil creatures, the evil demons and devils of Oridon are not so rightly named. But there are conversations about them within the tomes and texts that each of you have studied. The demon queen of Rot is real. You have read of her. But in our world, you've never heard of that before. Her influence, yes. Her, no.
Okay.
She is a direct. The things that she encourages grow in places of darkness and decay. And so she would be a direct antecedent to Orin.
Okay.
That's another one, I guess. I know what I'm doing tonight.
So you should not have this.
Who our lady is then?
What should we do?
I'm struggling here, guys. Like, every instinct in my bones is telling me to run and get away from here as fast as possible. But if Baraldi is telling the truth, and there were other people that Philo has taken, then there's a possibility they're still being held hostage. If there's a chance they're alive, we should try to get them out. Anybody got any bright ideas for sneaking in?
Sarani,
take the
you
dark
know the
passage.
people here, right?
Yes.
Of anyone who would be allowed free reign in the Master's Circle, but who wouldn't necessarily be noticed?
No. Only the circle leaders enter the Circle of Masters, or if we're called.
Can we even face these odds alone?
If I believe we could take the dark passage up to the plateau.
That sounds fun.
Well, most of us use the way, and he indicates where Philo would have taken you up and around to the plateau. But I believe there is another way.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that sounds good to me.
So
Would you like to go now, or
I'm already fairly rested, so I'm good to go. It just depends on the rest of you guys.
I am as well?
So, the well, let's see.
Should we at least better prepare for what to expect?
Well, apparently the time of joy is nigh, so I think there's really no time like the present to get going.
Funguses probably means a lot of dead things to grow on.
Okay. Then, if everyone thinks we should go, then let's go.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's do this.
So, the Myconid's days, and Sarani, you can kind of explain this to them. They spend about 8 hours working. They spend about 8 hours communing in the meld, and then they spend about 8 hours resting. This is the cycle of every day, exactly the same way, day in and day out. The meld is what the Myconids live for, and the work is how they live. So you can use that information to best discern any course of any plan that might be relevant.
If we want to be undisturbed, 2 times are best. We work, we meld, we sleep. During the meld, all join. During sleep, all sleep, except for guards, watchers, hunters. During the meld will be the best time.
So we'd have to wait a day, right? Because that just happened.
That happened the night before. You spent some time kind of getting shown the grove. That took a little while, more time than was expressed in the conversation, because we hand waved some of the actual tour, and you've been sitting there having a conversation. It's probably but yes, you would have to wait at least a few hours before that happened again.
Enough to eat and have a nap.
Enough that you would have downtime to do things that you may or may not want to do.
Yep.
Enough to build up a reasonable cover of us actually pretending to practice.
I should have you all give me performance checks for that.
Oh, I
Angus just
expect
looks across at Luna slightly guiltily, like,
Well, we have time until the meld. What were those dancing? What is that?
Moving around to the beat of the drum. And he starts beating on his waist drum, just like.
That is an unusual sound.
Right? And then you just kind of move. You just kind of shimmy. Just kind of shimmy a little bit. You just kind of
Yeah.
you just kind of shimmy.
Oh,
He just keeps trying to demonstrate dancing.
Oh my god! You could have inspiration for that. That's ridiculous. Actually, Mirth, you can have inspiration for the story about your family from earlier. That was pretty awesome as well.
I actually still have the inspiration from the first session for stealing the holy symbol of Valkyr from Shepherd's Desk. Actually never used that, so
then you can only have one, so you have an inspiration.
I know I still have inspiration. Oh, pity.
It's hard to keep giving out inspiration because everybody just role plays so much in this group. It's just like everybody has inspiration all the time. That's just basically how it would be. You wait, you practice or pretend to, until the time of the melding, and you prepare. That's a beautiful performance roll. You can play the banjo like nobody's business.
I think
I'll have
Isabel might have been a bard.
Oh god.
Two actual performers roll shit.
Mirth. Wow.
Oh god.
The Myconids are not at all used to the cacophony of noises that are going on up on the Explorer surface. And eventually, one of the explorers kind of sends out some rapport spores and says, "Please, the melding is happening soon. Can you quiet yourselves, softers? Your loudness is making it hard to work."
My flute indignantly.
Well, maybe we should
shove it
go
into my
someplace
belt.
where you're not. Maybe we should go someplace where you can't hear us if we're gonna practice, because we do need to make noise if we're gonna practice.
We should start making our way. But I feel that was productive.
That's one word for it.
You've learned to dance, Sarani.
Just before we continue, I'm gonna say during that time Luna was reading through her religion book, and she kind of approaches Angus and shows him a part. They talk about a spell that revives people that she might be able to learn with time. And she tells him that she could possibly learn the spell so that what happened to Gerard does not happen again. But we might need some very expensive diamonds for this. What do you think about this?
I think if it had been me who died and Gerard was still here, he would tell you, hey, don't sweat it. Diamonds? I'll find them for you. So, I guess it's the least I can do to try the same.
I was
Would
thinking
that be okay if they were slightly fenced diamonds?
I mean, it says here that we need approximately a diamond this size, and by this size she means approximately 300 gold worth of diamond. So it doesn't matter for more. So yeah, that's a big one. But I'm pretty sure
I
they'll be worth it.
mean, I'm pretty sure they used to mine for gems here, but I mean, you'd be lucky to find a dozen diamonds of that size in a vein even this deep. That's not going to be easy to come by, but well, I guess I'll keep my eye out.
Maybe we could all pitch in to buy one. Moving forward.
I think that sounds like it would be a good investment. We don't want to lose anyone again.
Yeah.
You you converse about the diamonds and about the spells, and by the time you look around, you realize the Myconids are starting to gather below once more for the melding. Sarani not going to join them for the melding is difficult for you and very strange.
Yeah, it's
You all can begin moving towards the plateau and the place that the Myconids who have been speaking of the Day of Joy have called the Garden of Welcome. There's a path from this terrace that leads up there.
Okay.
As the Myconids begin sprouting their spores, you climb this path, staying close to the wall and out of the way of this cloud of spores. And as you do, you begin to hear, as you get closer and closer, muffled murmurings. The plateau rises above the rest of the cavern and is kind of fenced off from view by stalks of the giant zirkwood mushrooms that are turned into guardians. These are not turned into guardians. They've not been awakened. But they kind of fence off the plateau from the rest of the place. And you can hear this murmuring get a little louder and a little louder. You turn the corner of this path and pass the Zirkwood. How are you trying to approach quietly, or are you just walking out onto the plateau?
Quietly, I suppose.
Yeah, probably better to be making a stealthy approach.
Okay, let me get some rolls
Yeah,
for that, please.
but- Approach, Mirth will sidle over to Vasir and kind of, I'll nudge him and say, "Hey, drums, look." and he'll point to the Zerkwood trees.
What?
Elephant? I didn't see an elephant.
Huh? What?
Vasir, can I get a stealth roll?
Yes. A decent one, too.
Yeah. Okay. You all move quietly along the path and out onto the plateau. The plateau is dark, and you can hear the mutterings getting louder and louder as you reach the top. As you move towards these mutterings in the darkness to explore the plateau, your dark vision, those of you with dark vision, begin to see points of light in the distance and can kind of start to see where the muttering is coming from. It begins to turn from the gentle sound of muttering to a growing sound of moans and cries. And then it becomes a symphony of these moans and cries and hisses. The only light comes from a few glowing mushrooms along the edge. But even in the gloom, you can't miss the source of the sound. The heads of creatures, of dozens of humanoids, different races, peek from the ground, mold and fungus growing around them.
Oh.
One voice calls out to you in Undercommon. Do any of you know Undercommon?
I know Undercommon.
I do not.
You hear, those of you who understand it, you can hear, "Please, please, for your gods of light, kill me! Kill me!" She manages to stir a little within her living grave, raising a spider medallion half embedded in the bloated growth that was once her hand. Half her face is rotten and pustulate, a bed of sprouting scores of tiny mushrooms. "The great cedar, it is a trap. The Lady of Decay, please kill me." And I think we'll end it there for this evening.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Nice disturbing sight to leave it off on.
For those of you out there in Twitch land, thank you for joining us tonight. We play A Dark and Hungry God Arises every Monday, or Tuesday, every Tuesday at 4:30. Please join us again. If you missed some of it, it will be here on Twitch still. You can find the video, or you can head over to YouTube. The link is down there. We also have a Patreon and a PayPal that you can donate to if you feel so inclined. It's never expected, but always, always, always appreciated. If you like what we're doing and want to see it continue, please help support the channel. You can also, if you have Amazon Prime, you can get a free sub every month. And if you are willing and able and like what we do, please feel free to sub to our channel. Help us reach 100 followers if you can. Those of you who did follow us, thank you so much for doing so. I will be here again tomorrow night. We have our game Dance Macabre and Friday night as well. So thank you so much. I hope everybody had fun and enjoyed what you watched.
Don't forget, those of you on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see all of DM Mark Knight's videos for all 4 days.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.